I'm your host Pensyfan19 and welcome to the July 2024 Pensyfan Periodical. This is a monthly news series which covers most of the major railroading headlines from around the world, as well as my opinions on them. We have a lot of articles to go over today, so with that in mind, let's get rolling. Up first, in what should once again technically be follow-up news since it was briefly mentioned in a service improvement plan a few months ago, the MBTA has now secured $54 million in funding to purchase a series of battery overhead hybrid vehicles for trial use on the Fairmount line, but not the adjacent electrified Providence Fountain line. Unusually, 3 different classes from 3 different manufacturers are featured on almost every article of this story, as the funding appears to approve the program, but it has not selected one or all 3 of the train sets proposed by different manufacturers. From Siemens, there is the same ALC-42 and battery pack set that Amtrak will be receiving along with their Aero cab cars, as it's unclear but highly likely that the Siemens sets will also come with similar cab cars. From Stadler, there's a modified battery variant of the KISS CMU similar to the ones testing on Caltrain. This time the battery pack is so large that it requires its own power car, or rather tall locomotive in this case, which could also be giving us a look into Stadler's proposed battery variants for Caltrain. And from Alstom, an entirely new class of multiple units with a nose design unlike that of anything on American or European rails, although it is unclear as to where the batteries might be located on this PMU. These vehicles will also utilize the overhead wires at South Station to recharge, although many have complained that the MBTA should simply extend the wires so that they don't have to worry about recharging to begin with. But nevertheless, it's nice to see a new series of rolling stock helping to increase frequencies to better serve Boston and to remove more emissions on site. It made a best manufacturer win. Speaking of which, here's some interesting news. A new railway proposal wants to connect Kamloops and Osoyoos, British Columbia, by mostly using battery MUs in the middle of a highway. The Labour Party overwhelmingly won the most recent election in the UK, as they're proposing several rail projects across the country, most notably renationalising British Rail. DB Cargo has terminated the UK Royal Mail Service in favour of trucking. Squadda has successfully tested an autonomous tram in Finland, while JR West introduced a maintenance robot to handle various MOW jobs. Royal Caribbean Cruise is to offer a virtual dining car experience in some of their new cruises. Snow was reported in Philadelphia in July for the first time since 1870, or rather it hailed and was classified as frozen water and therefore snow. Railway Gazette featured a series of $2 bills when describing a short line acquisition. Amtrak has released a list of emojis to describe each of their services, while the same railroad could be combining the Capital Limited with the Silver Star in order to free up equipment and provide Chicago to Miami service. And Brightline is to host Taylor Swift sing-along trains in mid-October to promote a Taylor Swift concert in the same region around the same time. Technically, Brightline isn't the first railroad to host such a sing-along train, as the Heber Valley Railroad technically offered a similar train earlier this year. But I for one feel Brightline is making a great move by capitalizing on popular topics like this, and by also introducing a bunch of Swifties to the importance and benefits of passenger rail, as they otherwise would have drove to the concert, but now have a reason to take the train, and are hopefully encouraged to take it more often. That, and you know that every single train is going to be sold out and bring in massive amounts of cash for the railroad. Now here's the follow-up news section for articles covering stories from previous episodes. A lawsuit has been filed against Governor Kathy Hochul over the sudden delay of congestion pricing, as the group claims that she has no authority to freeze the program, as she recently gave a small amount of $54 million back to the 2nd Avenue subway project. Mexican President-elect Sheinbaum has announced 3 new passenger services to be built from scratch similar to Tren Maya, namely Mexico City to Nuevo Laredo, Guadalajara, and Paucha. The Cedar Rapids and Iowa City Railroad is looking to test pop-up metro on part of their route between North Liberty and Iowa City, thus restoring passenger service on the former interurban line. Optifuel has released a rendering of one of their natural gas-powered engines on Metrolink with no official order made as of yet. The Purple Line of Maryland has received their CAF light rail cars. Siemens Venture Cafe cars have entered service on Amtrak Midwest. CSX has released a heritage unit representing the Chicago and Eastern Illinois. The Flying Yankee train set is to be moved to the Conway Scenic Railroad in time for its 50th anniversary. And Metro North has released their last 40th anniversary unit by inverting the colors of the original P32 silver livery and by attaching over 1,000 photos of Metro North employees on both sides of the engine, as it also serves as a worker appreciation unit. In other news, Amtrak has released renderings of the refurbished Baltimore West Station. Rocky Mountaineer has suspended all service to Jasper due to recent wildfires. Canadian National was a featured Wikipedia article July 2nd. DreamWorks has announced the release of Shrek 5 for 2026. Oslo has acquired Sateva. Alstom is to supply new Extasy Stream EMUs for S-Bahn and Cologne, as it shares a similar shovel nose design of Alstom EMUs, while the same company is to also deliver flat and smaller DT6 EMUs for the Hamburg subway. Keefe is to construct LRVs for the Omaha streetcar. Webtec is to produce ES43ACMI GEVOs for Simfer in Guinea. CD has purchased dual-mode shunters from Stadler. Weird Al Yankovic released a new polka medley for the first time in 10 years, or 5 if you count the Hamilton polka. CRRC has released their diesel hydrogen battery hybrid shunters. The Hankyu Class 2300 has entered service. The Florida Gulf and Atlantic Railway has acquired SD70 Max, while the Cumbers and Toltec has acquired former White Pass and Yukon Martyr DL535Es. And the Sioux City Railroad Museum has begun restoration of their Great Northern H5 Class Pacific, thus being the first Great Northern engine under steam in decades. Also, happy 40th anniversary to the Berkshire Scenic Railway, and happy 60th anniversary to the Federal Transit Authority. After all that, it is now time for this month's meme of the month. This month's meme of the month is... This bus looks coaster. And now, the top story of the July 2024 Pensyfan Periodical is... SEPTA releases renderings of Market Frankfurt M5 cars. Keeping to the topic of unusual railcar designs, SEPTA has selected Hitachi to construct the next line of broad gauge subways on the Market Frankfurt subway in order to replace the current stainless steel M4s. This comes a few months after the same manufacturer announced that they'll be constructing the 8000 series for the DC Metro in a new factory nearby, so Hitachi sounds like a good choice for railcar design for this kind of task. But at least the 8000 series looks mostly similar to the existing fleet, while the M5 looks nothing at all like not just the M4, but anything else on the line's history. The interior features seats that face both sideways and forwards, as these cars will also be following the NYC subway by having open gangways in between cars, which might be a first for Philadelphia public transit, but the most drastic difference is on the outside, with a black front, extended roof, and most notably, the gear tooth-like pattern of black and white for the doors. Had this design just been a single black and white line, then it would likely look more traditional and easy on the eyes. But this very unorthodox design that combines two bright and opposite colors makes it unlike anything else in the American market, and likely puts it about a decade ahead of its time. Although I'm always one for new railcars, especially if they have several improvements over the existing fleet, I'm just taken aback at how futuristic and otherworldly these railcars look due to the alternating black and white pattern around the windows and doors. But at least the open gangway design is helpful. But despite my opinion on the car's design, I wish SEPTA the best of luck in introducing these new railcars, as they'll certainly be a brand new and unique entry into SEPTA's vast history of rolling stock across all their divisions. Thank you everyone for watching this month's episode of Pensyfan Periodical. There have been a lot of rail news headlines for the month, and it'll be very interesting to see what the future has in store for all of these articles. Thank you again for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Have a good day.